You never think that this would ever happen to you. You don't ever expect it to, and it just happened so quickly, and next thing you know, he was there, and
It's pretty surreal.
very.
She started having mild contractions last night, and I mean, we've done this before, so we thought no big deal. And she was able to sleep through them for the most part, so slept until about 6:30 this morning when we normally get up, and then they started getting fairly strong, but they were fairly far apart. And I said, well, I think we should go to the hospital anyways. They'll admit us by this point. And so we got in the car, and we live in Niverville, so it's about a half-hour drive. And we made it to Grand Point, which is about halfway. And by that point, she was in constant contractions and screaming at the top of her lungs. And she yelled at me to pull over. She was going to have the baby right there.
I still didn't really believe it. My contractions were just so strong. They were one on top of the other, and they were just too strong. And I was like, we had to pull over, and I was like, no, you should phone 911 just in case. And
just like you've heard, they say, well, make sure you have a jacket ready to catch the baby, and do you have a shoelace to tie off the umbilical cord, and so I had to do all that, and well, they wanted me to check, they said, well, can you get between your wife's legs and check to see if the baby's crowning? And well, we have a daughter, plus we had his car seat already in the car too, so you can only recline the seat about this much. And I said, well, that's not really going to be possible. And she says, well, you're going to have to do it. I go, oh.
You're behind the wheel, right?
Yeah, I was behind the wheel. And I kept asking her, like, can you give me an ETA when the ambulance is going to be here? Well, I can't tell you that, but you should be able to hear them. I roll down the window, and I don't hear nothing. I'm like, can they please get here fast? Because I don't know if I can do this. She says, oh, you'll be fine.
even then, when they were on the way, I was like, oh, no, this is silly. This isn't going to happen. Like, I'm not going to deliver this baby here. And then they come and get me in the ambulance, and I was like, oh, this is so silly. It's not going to happen. And it did. 5 minutes later. They were very calm and very collected, and they just kept checking, and they're like, okay, well, we'll start heading to the hospital, and she'll start crowning soon, and let's get going. And then he takes another peek. He says, oh, she's crowning. Yeah, we should probably pull over. And the head was already almost out. And
yeah, 2 pushes and they got it.
2 pushes and it was out, and they're like, oh, congratulations.